What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Talking Elite Fitness. I'm Sean Woodland with Tommy Marquez. Lauren Khalil is across the pond doing some tactical game stuff in Poland, I believe. Correct?
Yes, first international tactical games this weekend.
That's amazing. So good for her. So it's we are unsupervised yet again. Gonna be a good show. Got a lot to talk about. Tommy, how you doing, man?
I'm good, man. Busy week.
Busy working on the
Kind of crazy.
property?
We pour foundation tomorrow.
Woo! That is big. Congratulations. That's when you can really start to see it, right? Like it's like this
Yeah.
is
Oh,
that's awesome. Good for you, man.
yeah. Kind of
That's great.
crazy.
Yeah, cool.
But,
Well, we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to recap the Tier Wodapalooza SoCal, mostly the Tier Cup. Talk a little bit about the Rogue Invitational field. There's a notable absence. And we're going to hear from our good friend Jason Grubb. Tommy, Lauren, and I spoke to him a couple weeks ago. We've been hanging on to that one. We figured why not roll it out now? But
mhm.
before we do that, we want to thank our sponsor for today, and that is Thirdzy. You can go to thirdzy.com and use the code TEF, and you will save 20% on their Rest and Recovery Collagen. Why should you do that? I'm glad you asked. It's because if you are looking to get the most out of your sleep and recover the best that you possibly can while you are getting some shut eye, the Rest and Recovery Collagen from Thirdzy is the absolute best possible way to help you achieve that. It doesn't have any melatonin in it, so it is not habit forming. It has GABA, L-theanine, magnesium, ingredients that are in there to help you, calm your central nervous system. So it doesn't make you drowsy. It tastes so good you can take it during the day. You're just going to relax a little bit. Helps you get to sleep faster, stay asleep longer, and get the most out of the sleep that you do get. And here's the bonus:
Mm.
it tastes great.
It tastes fantastic. And I actually found it, I don't want to say semi new use, but
Mm,
last night I had the first allergy attack with all the change in weather and everything like
yep.
that. Uh, it's head congestion, allergies. I'm like, all right, this sucks. And I'm like, I hope it doesn't affect my sleep. Took a fat scoop of Thirdzy, didn't even notice it, slept right through it.
Nice.
Felt great.
Well, you can feel
So,
great and sleep great like Tommy Marquez. If you go to thirdzy.com and you use our code TEF, you will save 20% and you will sleep and recover better. I love Thirdzy. I love the people over there. Fantastic crew that make a great product. We're happy that they are on board. All right. Well, we had kind of an all-star weekend, I guess you could call it, in CrossFit.
yeah,
We had the TYR Cup that went down at Huntington Beach Pier, second straight year that they have held it there. I thought I had a very sort of limited kind of view of everything. We were, I mostly spent my time like underneath the pier where the broadcast compound, put that in quotes, was.
yeah,
And then our play-by-play position, which was on the floor, another quotes, um, right by where the let's see, was there a rig? There was a rig there. There's rigs at different both ends, but we were on the, if you were looking at, I think from camera position, we were on the left.
mm,
Anyway, we're in the VIP area, which that I'll tell that story here in a second. But I thought it was a really fun event. There was stuff going on all day as you would expect at Wodapalooza. They had
mhm.
teams, individuals, they all levels. They had, it was, you had all vendor village. You had all the, like the volleyball court was there. They had like a podcast stage where people were speaking and giving presentations. There was a weightlifting competition going on as well, and it seemed
Nice.
pretty well attended. I mean, when I looked up in the stands, we were facing the main bleachers. They looked more or less full.
That's good.
And yeah, and I thought, I think it's a fun competition. I thought it was, this one I think was, I mean, probably just because I have recency bias. I think it was probably more entertaining than last year because I think last year when you showed up, it was more or less a foregone conclusion that the North America team was going to win it all. This year, I think the world team probably came in as the favorites, and there was a point on Saturday night where it looked like it might get out of hand, and that
I
North America roped it back in.
I'm actually, I don't want to say surprised that North America won because I think with the skill level and talent of these athletes and what we've learned from these all star type events in the past is that how things look on paper don't always play the same way, and there is enough strategy in who goes where and how you manage people's efforts over the weekend. We've seen that at the Invitational the year that the first time that a non-USA
Mhm.
team won, and I thought each day got better, right? the if I felt like Friday, I was thinking, "Ooh, this could get ugly for North America if, World carries this momentum into Saturday." Then there were a couple kind of back and forths where like North America rattled off a couple of points, then bring it back to square, bring it to close. And going into Sunday, I think it was only 1 point separated, and that's when I was like, "Okay, this
Mhm.
is when I feel like maybe the momentum is starting to shift." Uh Especially with, like I don't know why I felt like this way, but something about the morning event where you had to, like, move all of
Yeah.
the, like, odd object stuff across the sand. I don't know why, that just felt like a North America event for me.
Yeah, and
I
Vellner
I
called it too on Friday night, Saturday night. I can't remember which one he
Mhm.
did the interview. He goes, "Yeah, they're great at this cutesy stuff, shooting the laser pistol, but when we get to actual hard work, we're gonna start to pull away." And yeah, they won that. They had like a 3 event victory streak, I think.
Mhm.
After winning that, or that was the middle of it. Can't, yeah, I can't quite remember, but yeah, I thought they were gonna win that one too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a Sandy delivery, I believe it was
Yes. They
is
did 10
yeah,
burpees over the log, one at a time, and then more and more like, one person went out and started moving stuff, and then it was like a waterfall fall style. And the next person did the burpees, got out there and moving stuff. Cool event.
mhm.
It's like you
Yeah,
and
super
your friends
cool.
moving really for time.
Yeah. There's
That's
pizza
really
and
cool.
beer waiting for you
Yeah.
at the end.
Mhm. And,
But yeah,
juice stuff
which
back.
is super cool, and I'm glad came down. It was tied going into the final like floor event.
Mhm.
Um, and I mean that's kind of what you would want. Like last year, obviously a little bit proof of concept for the format. You have a couple of cool moments here and there. Like I would say, like Sarah Kaya and Anil having some moments as maybe some of the more like overlooked athletes in that group kind of sets the precedent that like the maybe quote unquote the upset can happen, if that makes
Yeah.
sense,
Mhm.
and that you can't always expect a certain way on paper. Then you build on year two. You flesh out some of the events. You do some callbacks with some version 2.0s, and then you have a much tighter race that ends in the finish. And to me, that's something that you want to see year one to year two to hopefully set yourself up to maybe have this format, whether it's in partnership with someone else or with however you want to do this going forward, but be like, hey, this is something that we can build off for the future, and it's not just going to be a 1 to 2 year thing and then
Yeah.
disappear.
Yeah,
So
I
at
think,
least I hope so.
you mentioned upsets, and I think that the 2 biggest moments, I think, for me were the opening event where Tia finished last in that Echo on Fran.
Yeah,
That was surprising, and
very
obviously
surprising.
there was a lot of rumors going throughout the weekend. And here's all I'll say about that. I know people were saying, "Oh, she's pregnant, that this is going on." I talked to someone who talked to sources very close to that situation, and they said that's not true. So, given my track record of things with Tia, congratulations. So I'm just, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just saying that's what someone who talked to
That was
someone like very close said. That's not
oh,
the case. He just has not been
that's
training. I don't know. Put a
that's
pin in that.
hilarious.
We're gonna come back to it. Yeah. So there was that, and then it was the head-to-head race, and then we saw this too last year, and that's when the world
Mhm.
team was able to kind of make it close going into the final day. But it was that back and forth. That this one could not have played out better. It came down to the last matchup. Tia had to beat Olivia Kerstetter to tie it, and then you go to the tie break, which was cumulative total time for both teams. And I don't know how that would have played out. I'm pretty sure North America would have won. Um, and then you go to, but and then Olivia had to win to clinch, and she did. Olivia Kerstetter outdueled Tia head to head, and I thought that was a huge moment. And then also honorable mention to,
That's a great spot.
yeah, honorable mention to Emma Lawson on the single modality tests, where I can't, who was she going up against? Amy Kringle on the burpees.
Yeah,
That was nuts. So I think those two,
that
those
was
are two
pretty
of the
awesome.
biggest, I think, North American performances for me throughout the weekend. But
Uh,
I would love, go ahead.
I would agree with that 100%. Those are probably the maybe the linchpin moments, if you will. I also liked, and we talked about this coming in, you get to see those like very distilled performances like that with Olivia and Tia head to head
Mhm.
that you don't always get with that same level of intensity when you have the full field of athletes to think about game plan with in a full
Yeah.
weekend of individual games competition, right? Like, we got to see and it extended to other tests, right? When we got to see the part B to the lifting event on Friday, and we got to see Isabel and Grace, and we got to just see games athletes just rip it, the
Mhm.
OG as
That was
prescribed. Like,
crazy.
I wanna say Danielle Brandon did Isabel in, like, 53 seconds and had 3 or 4 no reps. She would've
Yeah,
had a sub 50 Isabel,
it's insane.
like, crazy, right? And we got, which is also like I've kind of confirmed something that I thought about for a while, that for some of these benchmark workouts, like the elites have really kind of tapped out the potential. It's like
Yeah,
at some point, like the world records in like track only go down by like a fraction, or they
yeah,
stick around for a long time. Like Dan Bailey did weapons grade grace way back in the day, if you remember that
I
video,
do.
and he did it unbroken, and it was like right around a minute. And it's like, yeah, okay, like yeah, those elites are all right, pretty much at that, which is
Mhm.
cool to see him sell out, and seeing like Hopper hype.
Oh, Dallin with he had the
Yeah,
belt behind him on the that was
yeah,
it was a cool competition, and, like, there was legit trash talking out there that went beyond, like got a little heated at some time, like, there was not you know,
Woo.
it went beyond, like, friendly banter is what I'll say, like, there was a couple times like, "Oh, man, I think so and so is actually kinda pissed." Um,
Ooh.
but here's what I would love to see, and I thought about this as I was flying home, like, 'cause you always just kinda start mulling
Mhm.
things over your head. And we've said this before. I'd love to see 4 teams. I'd love for this to be sort of the new de facto invitational, US, Canada, Europe, Pacific. Maybe you do 6 members instead of 8 just to keep it a little easier. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I'd love, because what they've done a really good job with this event is they've done a nice job of fitting it into like a traditional broadcast window, couple
Uh-huh.
hours. And I would get so if I had my way, I would hire a sideline reporter or an embedded reporter with EAM that you just follow that team around, and we do like reports uh, during the events with each reporter who's just embedded with that team. And I thought that'd be a good way to enhance like the TV coverage, because Bella was like
Yeah.
bouncing all over the place. But if you embedded like
Yeah.
4 reporters in there, especially during the downtime that you have in that single modality test, like with people recovering, like I think that would be something cool just to see on TV, because I think this is like a made for broadcast event. But those are the two main things that I'd love to see. And then like we've said before, I would love some sort of season long ranking system that would help determine who wound up on those teams. So it's
Yeah,
pure.
and like, like UFC does embedded, the NFL does a lot of behind the scenes stuff. You could almost even, have some of that stuff that you save for right afterwards, because in some of the team planning sessions, there were some ideas and things being thrown around that I was like,
Mhm.
"Oh, that would be really good if people knew about it," but you're
Yeah.
kind of sworn to secrecy at that. This is when we were in the team practices last year, and I don't know, it's just I think it's a different light, and there's some cool opportunity there for sure.
Yeah. Well, then
Yeah.
another thing that was officially announced, and this will sort of launch us into our next conversation,
Yeah.
is that as we were hoping when the dates came out for 2026 Tier Wodapalooza Miami coincided with week 3 of the Open, like they should do an Open announcement there. And sure enough, they're doing it. Like they're going to do 26.3 in Miami. I think this is a home run. I absolutely
Agreed.
love this idea. They're going to make
Yep.
it as part of the competition so the athletes don't have to worry about, oh, I got to, do an open announcement and compete. No, it's just part of your thing. I don't know if they're going to run it during the gauntlet, have like a community floor there where you can go and do 26.3 with judges, registered judges, and have your score validated. Like I love this idea. I think it is and I think what's funny about it is like how many times have we sat here, whether it's us talking or talking with other people in the community just off camera, about wouldn't it be cool if, and then that doesn't happen. And
Yep.
this is, wouldn't it be cool if, and now it does.
And more often than not, the wouldn't it be cool if usually comes down to people playing nice with each other,
Yeah.
and like collaborating with each other and being open to that. And that's not always the case. And like this is um I just think this is unique. This is well, and obviously things have changed in this new era, but like this was an idea. Like if we had pitched this idea like 10 years ago, I joked, I was having a conversation interview uh with Chris Biesterfeld. I think I'm butchering his last name, and I apologize, on his podcast. And invited me on, that like if we had proposed this idea 10 years ago, we
Oh,
might have gotten fired.
yeah.
Like they might have been like, nope,
There is
out, leave.
no effing way.
Just
Get out of here. What are you doing? Yeah.
yeah. And now that like, the sanctionals era kind of like knocked that door down for them to partner with other people. Um, and kind of remove like them being so bristly at the idea of other events being called quote unquote CrossFit events.
Mhm.
Now you have event partners running semifinals. Now you have an open announcement, open event in conjunction with a major competition, which is awesome. And I think I would love to see that continue. Like we've talked about this on this show too. It's like not just that it's you know any other event, like I would love if like a World Fitness Project event could one day be a qualifying semifinal, right?
Yeah.
Like, or like anything along those lines. Like, start having these people in the ecosystem realize that um, wanting opportunities for athletes in the sport to thrive doesn't have to be mutually exclusive. If that,
Agreed. It's like, what's that old saying? It's like, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together.
yeah,
And I feel like right now we got too many people just wanting to go alone. And if
yeah,
everybody just came together, like Rich Froning says, let's get everyone in a room and talk. And
yeah,
I think that would ultimately be beneficial for everybody. And I think, I've said it. I would love to see the TYR Cup in at Wodapalooza SoCal be an all-star event that is you can track throughout the CrossFit Games season. And hell, just even make it. You could even go back to the, like I said, go back to the individual invitational, or sorry, the invitational teams that we used to have. Like that would be great. And it could be a
yeah.
cool partnership between the two entities. It's like CrossFit did this ranking system with their season and blammo. Like I think there's a lot of opportunities out there for more collaborations like this. And I think it benefits everybody.
And you could even tie what other countries, like say you know that like the US, Canada, Europe, Australia are generally going to be Australia, New Zealand, Pacific is generally going to be like where a lot of the athletes come. But like if you could find a way to maybe take some that ranking system and create like, hey, what if a LATAM team? What if an Asia team? What if
Mhm.
like these other regions do really well in the open and have strong semi-final performances and an athlete does better at the games? Does that give an opportunity to boost a whole team up, you know?
Yeah.
Um, in the same way that like individual performances for track and field support the team's overall ranking, could you do that to have a rotating door of another team that shows up to the tier cup every year? And then if that's the case, into those top three, the top ranked athletes in those spots, and you keep it simple, right? You make it one team, and that way you can have something like Latin America show up, or you even split up Europe. You do the top four, and then you do
Yeah.
something like the Nordic region, because
Ooh.
like how strong like Sweden, Norway, Iceland is.
Mhm.
That could be cool too. But
Yeah. There's a lot of possibilities, and I give CrossFit credit for saying, yeah, this is a really good idea. It's
mhm.
not our quote unquote, it's not our event, but why not take advantage of that?
And I think it made it a little bit easier in that like Wodapalooza has been a trusted entity and
Yeah.
so is Loud and Live, as someone that has been able to carry the banner forward both as a sanctional um, and as a licensed event, and generally speaking from 2019 on has been a courier, I think, of goodwill in the sport. So
Yeah. Okay. Well, speaking of big events coming up, the next big one is the Rogue Invitational. And they have now rounded out all their fields, strong men, strong women, CrossFit men, CrossFit women. And it's whenever someone like this is left off, it's the story is more about who's not there than who is. When we get competition going, obviously that'll switch. But Tia Toomey is not going to the Rogue Invitational, which will, obviously fuel more speculation about what's going on. But I found that, I mean, I kind of just raised an eyebrow at it. I don't know if she's just trying to take a longer off season.
hmm
It's one of those events that if she shows up to, she's probably going to win. Now it's a little more wide open, which makes it, I think for me and for fans, probably more exciting. Uh, and yeah, I guess I don't know if you'd say Laura is now the favorite, but she's kind of the woman that takes that mantle when Tia's not there. But I mean, you got a loaded field on both sides. I mean, I'll just read Horvath, Sturt, Lowen, Anganese, Tall, Domit, Campbell. Spiegel, Kerstetter, Lawson, Rolfe, Adams, Wells, Gazan, Raptis, Brandon, Semenza, Walton, Fuliano, and Paige Powers. That's a murderer's row.
Yeah.
And
Whew.
you so Laura's probably the favorite, and you got to go with the two other podium finishers at the games, Lucy Campbell and I was so impressed with Kerstetter at the TYR Cup. But it will be interesting if there is if there's an example, or it's not example, an explanation given for Tia. Maybe she's just, and right now I don't know, but it was
Yeah.
certainly interesting.
Yeah. I mean, it's Rogue is, I guess you could argue, depending on where the prize purse has now, that it's the biggest earning opportunity in the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, my eyes freaking out.
You've been outside all day, man.
I have been. The allergies are getting nuts, and it's one of the more unique competitive opportunities as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? In terms of like what they roll out for the athletes, the mixture of events, and just like the experience. And Tia has to pick anytime she makes a decision about competing. There's a ripple effect across the rest of the division,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, and I was thinking about this earlier, and I don't know. Does this add intrigue a little bit every time she steps away, to where
Yeah.
it brings impact to when she comes back, right?
Yeah.
Like, because
Yeah.
and this is there is like, it's like the same reason why Michael Jordan or even LeBron nowadays during his like 10-year stretch didn't win MVP every year. You get like
Mhm.
fatigue of people watching it. And I know this is not factoring into the decision at all, but I think like when Tia steps away and someone else has an opportunity to shine, it adds credence to their legitimacy as someone who can contend with her. So when she does come back, it adds to the storyline, it adds to the excitement, it adds to all
Yeah.
of that. Now, that's not to say that we wouldn't love to see Tia there every single time and see her competing, but this also does like open up the door for other people to develop the rot. Like I liken it back to like the was it the 94, 95 Rockets?
You're
Like
the NBA
once
guy.
they're the two guys, they won back-to-back titles when Jordan
Mhm.
was gone for
Oh,
baseball.
yeah.
But that added intrigue back into the league a little bit now, because you had Drexler and the Dream stepping up and winning titles and being like, whoa, can they do it? And then the King came back and taught everyone a lesson. So I think that maybe this could be something that, one, allows Tia to kind of like rest, recover, get back what she needs, and then also add some intrigue to the sport as other women have an opportunity to step up and win.
That's a really interesting point. I think
So
that is, because there is that sort of storyline. Oh, she's back. Does she still have it? Can she still win? Yeah, I'll buy that. And then you go over to the men's side. I mean, my goodness, this is going to be a great competition. Dallin Pepper, Mertens, Crouch, Koski, Adler, Vellner, Austin Hatfield, Chandler Smith, James Sprague, Ricky Garrard, Jason Hopper, Heinrich Happellein, and Bjorgvin Gudmundsson, Guy Mayeros, Roman Krennikov, Noah Olson, Justin Medeiros. We got Sam Quant, Ulis Upniks, and Hermans is the last guy on there. But my God, that is, I mean, you could throw a dart. Oh, someone I should have mentioned too for the women is Alex Gazan. I mean, if she's 100%,
yes,
he's got a
that's
chance.
huge. Yeah, that's
I don't
huge.
want Justin Collar to hunt me down and kill me in my sleep. Um, but that men's field is loaded. I can't wait. Like, this is going to be awesome.
6, 7, 8, 9. Hold on. 9, 10,
You got a
11.
podium.
11 individual podium finishers at least. I
Oh,
might be missing one, but
I mean,
that's
still more than half the field.
yeah, that's
That's going to be
on
fun.
it's like on any given competition, all of those dudes are expecting to show up and walk away with some hardware.
Yeah, and
That's
here's the X factor too. It's like Rogue is an awesome event, but it is not like they're not claiming to find the fittest. So that kind of takes some of the onus off of, oh, you have to have this ultimately well-rounded, programmed thing that they don't need that. They're there to put on a show, and like, that's a huge X factor and who's going to win. But man, I can't wait for this. Like there's 10 guys who could win this thing.
Yeah, and I'd also be interested to see if there are any other, like, new twists and turns to the programming that could potentially trickle over to the games or anything else like that, because we get to see the full breadth of what Rogue has at their disposal, and
Mhm.
I think that's always fun.
That's gonna be
Like,
a blast.
yeah,
I can't wait. That venue's perfect. The crowd is awesome. You know,
heck
uh,
yeah.
so I'm just
Ah, man, I know it's like I've committed to not going, but I keep looking at airplane tickets to to Aberdeen.
yeah. I mean, I unfortunately I'm gonna go, but I just don't get to see much of the city. It's literally like airport venue, and then you walk back and forth from the hotel and venue, and then go back to
Yeah.
the airport and out. But it's so fun. Like they do a really cool thing. They do that Legends happy hour. And last year was a blast. Like last year, they had all the legends there, and they did a tour with all the legends of the facility. So you get to go walk out on the competition floor. You go down to the warm up area, and they have guys like last year they had like Hackenbrook and Chan and Dan Bailey and Sam Briggs. I think was Margot there. Margot was there, I think. Then they were all just telling stories, answering questions. It was a great experience. Like I jumped in just because my brother and his wife were there, and so they were curious. I said, "Yeah, let's go take the tour." And so I got to walk around, and they do a great job. Like it's just if you're in the area and you're gonna go. It's and the strongman event too is and strong women. They're a lot of fun to watch as well. So I'm
Yeah,
certainly looking forward to that, and we'll have a more in depth preview as we get closer to that event. So
and we got some new legends added to the fold,
yeah,
Fikowski's on that list.
yeah. It's funny. I talked to Brent. I talked to Brent a lot at TYR Wodapalooza SoCal. It was funny. It's my Brent Fikowski story. He, I had my format with me, for the show. I was like just making some notes. He goes, "Hey, can I grab that?" And he goes, "Yeah." Like grabs my piece of paper. And he's watching an event back from the games, and he's like making notes. I go, "What are you watching?" He goes, "1 sec, I'll tell you." He's making notes and stuff. He's okay, yep. And he goes, "All right," because it was coming into the 2-person chipper that had all the was it? No, I'm sorry, it was the finals. It was going into the final event, the captain's
Yeah,
challenge.
yeah.
He's like, okay, I think they're going to get through this many box jumps in this amount of time. He was like timing out this old event with Pat doing box jumps at the CrossFit Games. And then he used that to sort of come up with like, this is how far they'll get the first time. This is how far they'll get the second time. And then this is what I think it'll take the third time. Well, they didn't get to the third round, but he was pretty much spot on with his predictions. Like
Wow,
he just wrote his notes right in my format and I took him out there with me. I was like, yeah, he was, he was right. So it
that's
was
cool.
also the Medeiros family. I didn't know this when I asked about it. We were sitting in the
Yeah, you
we
mentioned
were
it.
sitting next to the VIP area, and they had a stage where you could go up, and they were serving these Rain Body Fuel like mocktails. Okay, and I actually
Mm.
looked at the menu and I was up there. I said, "Oh, that sounds pretty cool." And there was one in there. It was called the Medeiros Mule. Well, I did not look at the menu closely enough because it had ginger beer, like it had alcohol in it. So we were sitting there. Chase and I were sitting there getting ready for the show on Saturday night, and the Medeiros has come by. I'm like, "Hey, when I get one of those Medeiros mules?" And they're like, "We'll go get you one." I'm like, "Cool." So we start the show. I'm sitting there talking. Medeiros mule, bam, lands right on my desk, right next to me, and I give Dad Medeiros a thumbs up. Grab the drink while Chase is talking. Take a giant swig, and while I'm like taking the swig, I'm like, "Oh my god, there's alcohol in this."
Just
So put that
instantly
down. Like,
transform into Ron Burgundy.
I'm not. I can't. Yeah. So I may have had a couple sips while I was on air. So that's the first time in my career ever at any level, be it local TV, that I have had any sort of alcoholic beverage while on air. So luckily it wasn't too loaded, but I was like, man, if I slam this, like it's gonna be who knows what I
You're gonna
might
be
say.
you're gonna Dad's feeling nice tonight, ladies and
Hi,
gentlemen. Hey, everybody.
honey Chase, if the moon was made of cheese, would you take a bite?
I know I would.
I know I would. So anyway, those were my two.